Right at the start of this week, I decided to try one simple experiment that most people ignore. I drank just 1 cup every day for 7 days, and what happened next completely surprised me. My belly fat began to shrink, and my insulin levels started to stabilize in ways I did not expect. In this video, I am going to share every detail of what I experienced from the very first day to the seventh, and also explain the science behind why this tiny daily habit can create such a dramatic shift in the body. You will learn why this drink works differently from any fad diet or extreme workout, how it interacts with your metabolism, and why it targets stubborn belly fat and improves insulin resistance in a way most people overlook. By the time you finish watching this video, you will understand how a simple natural ingredient can influence your body at a deep level, helping you burn fat, balance blood sugar, and feel lighter and more energized without relying on complicated routines or expensive supplements. Each day brought its own small but remarkable changes, and I will break down exactly what to expect if you try this yourself. You will also discover a few lesser-known facts about metabolism, insulin response, and fat storage that are rarely mentioned but can make a huge difference if applied consistently. There are moments in this process that feel almost unbelievable, and I will walk you through all of them, explaining exactly what is happening inside your body while keeping it simple and easy to understand. This is not about quick fixes or unrealistic claims, but about real, noticeable changes that happen when the body starts responding to the right natural stimulus. Watching until the end will give you a complete roadmap, including tips for getting the best results in just 1 week, and why these small daily habits often outperform complicated routines. You will also learn how your body's fat storage, hunger signals, and energy levels are all connected to insulin sensitivity, and how improving this single factor can trigger a chain reaction that helps reduce belly fat more efficiently than most people realize. The transformation I experienced was not sudden, but each day revealed new insights that surprised me and challenged everything I thought I knew about losing stubborn fat. By following this simple daily routine, anyone can notice changes without starving, overexercising, or using harsh chemicals. I will explain the exact timing, the effects I observed on my cravings, energy, and digestion, and the scientific reasons behind each shift, so you can see that these results are not random or magical, but rooted in how the body truly works. Some of the effects I noticed were subtle at first, like a decrease in bloating and a more even energy level throughout the day, while others were more dramatic, like feeling lighter and seeing visible changes around the waistline. Every detail matters, and in this video, I will share it all, including what most people miss when trying similar methods. You will also learn about the ingredients in this cup, why they are powerful for fat loss and insulin regulation, and why most people overlook them in their daily routine. This is the kind of information that can change the way you think about losing belly fat and controlling blood sugar forever. Watching closely will give you the full picture, including what to expect day by day, what results are realistic, and how to make this habit a part of your life for long-term benefits. If you follow along, you will gain a deeper understanding of how small, consistent actions can trigger big results in your health, why timing and composition matter, and how to leverage this simple daily drink to get the most out of your body's natural ability to burn fat and balance insulin. Every point I share is backed by science and real observation, but I will keep it simple so you can easily understand and apply it without confusion or unnecessary complication. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why this 1 cup makes a difference, how your body responds, and how to replicate these effects safely at home. So stay tuned, because the details I reveal in the next few minutes may completely change the way you approach fat loss and insulin health, and you will see that dramatic changes can start with just a single cup each day. Welcome to the channel, where we break down health and science into simple steps you can follow without stress. And if you are ready to see real results and learn tips that most people do not talk about, make sure to subscribe now so you do not miss any of our upcoming videos. I decided to start my week with one simple drink every day, and I was determined to see what it could do for my body, not just in appearance, but in how I felt from the inside out. The drink itself is something natural, something that has been known for centuries in traditional medicine, and has recently been studied scientifically for its effects on metabolism and blood sugar. I chose it because it promised more than just temporary weight loss or a quick boost. It had the potential to change the way my body processed energy, the way my fat storage responded, and the way my overall metabolism worked. For 7 straight days, I committed to drinking this cup once a day, at roughly the same time paying attention to the smallest details in how my body responded. The simplicity of it was appealing because I knew that consistency is more powerful than intensity when it comes to real lasting change. I wanted to see whether such a small habit could actually make a noticeable difference in a short time frame, and I was ready to track every change, no matter how minor it seemed. From day one, I started to notice subtle shifts. My digestion felt lighter, and I had a clearer sense of energy throughout the day. My stomach did not feel bloated, and I noticed that meals that normally left me sluggish seemed easier to handle. It was fascinating to observe how a simple natural ingredient could interact with my body in ways I had not expected, how it could help my cells respond more effectively to energy intake, and how it could gently nudge my metabolism toward a more balanced state. What I also understood during this period was that belly fat is not just about calories or exercise. The fat that settles around the waistline is often stubborn because it is closely linked with insulin resistance. When insulin does not function efficiently, sugar from food is not absorbed properly by the cells for energy, so the body starts storing it as fat, particularly in the abdominal area. This is why some people can follow strict diets yet still struggle with a growing midsection. Improving insulin sensitivity, even in small increments, can drastically change the way the body burns fat. Every time I had my cup of this drink, I was not just consuming a liquid, I was introducing compounds that had the potential to influence my metabolism on a cellular level. These compounds help boost fat oxidation, the process by which the body breaks down stored fat for energy. Some components in this drink are natural metabolism enhancers. They work by slightly increasing the number of calories the body burns during the day, and by signaling to the body to use stored fat more efficiently. At the same time, this drink helps regulate blood sugar. It contains elements that slow down the absorption of sugar and stabilize energy levels. By keeping blood sugar from spiking, insulin is not forced into overdrive, and the body begins to respond more effectively, reducing the likelihood of fat accumulation. Another key factor is inflammation, which is often overlooked in discussions about fat loss. Chronic low-grade inflammation can interfere with insulin signaling and encourage the storage of fat in the belly. The drink I used contains natural anti-inflammatory compounds, so each cup I drank was gently helping to calm my body's internal stress response, improving insulin sensitivity, and creating an environment where fat could be burned more efficiently. As I moved through the first 3 days, I focused on paying attention to physical cues and mental clarity. Early on, I noticed that my energy seemed more even throughout the day, and I did not experience the same afternoon crashes that I usually do. My digestion was smoother, and I felt less bloated after meals. Even though these changes were subtle, they were enough to make me curious and motivated to continue. My appetite seemed to regulate itself naturally, and I found that I was not reaching for snacks as often between meals. The consistency of drinking this cup at the same time every day helped reinforce a routine that my body could adjust to. Each sip was warming, comforting, and surprisingly satisfying, which made it easy to stick to the habit without feeling like I was depriving myself. I also began to notice that my mind felt sharper, and I had fewer moments of sudden fatigue or mental fog. These early signs were exciting because they indicated that the drink was starting to influence not just fat storage but overall metabolism and energy management. I realized that the body's response to this drink was gradual and cumulative, building up over each day and producing noticeable effects even in such a short period.
The science behind it made sense. Natural compounds that increase metabolism, regulate blood sugar, and reduce inflammation create a perfect environment for the body to start burning fat more efficiently. This was particularly important because belly fat and insulin resistance are connected in a way that many people underestimate. Stubborn fat around the waist often signals that the body is not responding optimally to insulin, and even small improvements in sensitivity can trigger a series of changes that affect energy, appetite, and fat storage simultaneously. Each day I observed tiny but meaningful changes. The way my stomach felt, the way my energy fluctuated, and even my mood seemed slightly improved. These were early indicators that the drink was supporting my metabolism and helping my body begin to restore balance. I also learned that patience is key. Even though the results were not instantaneous, paying attention to the subtle changes in digestion, energy, and comfort gave me confidence that the process was working. By the third day, I could feel a difference in how my body handled food and sugar, and I was starting to see small reductions in bloating around my midsection. The combination of metabolism boosting, blood sugar stabilization, and anti-inflammatory effects made this one simple habit surprisingly powerful. Each component of the drink contributed to the overall effect, and together they created an environment where my body could start addressing the root causes of stubborn belly fat rather than just masking symptoms. This experience highlighted how small, consistent habits often outperform more extreme measures because they allow the body to adapt naturally and sustainably. I also observed that the effects were cumulative. Even though day 1 and day 2 showed only minor changes, by day 3 I could feel a stronger sense of balance in my energy, less craving for unhealthy snacks, and a reduction in the heaviness I usually feel after meals. These were clear signs that the drink was influencing insulin function and supporting the body's ability to burn fat more efficiently. The first 3 days taught me the importance of paying attention to subtle signals from the body. Every sip, every small effect, and every minor improvement were part of a larger process that would continue to build over the week. The natural compounds in the drink were not just promoting fat loss, but were also supporting overall metabolic health, which is the key to long-term sustainable results. Observing these changes made me eager to continue, to see how the week would progress, and to understand exactly how the body would respond when given the right tools to improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and gently boost metabolism.
As I moved into day 4 of this experiment, the changes that had been subtle over the first 3 days began to feel more tangible and noticeable in ways that surprised me. The bloating that often lingered after meals was less pronounced, and my stomach felt lighter and more comfortable. I could sense that my digestion was working more smoothly, and meals no longer left me with that heavy, sluggish feeling that had become normal over the years. My cravings, which had been an occasional battle in the first days, started to diminish. I noticed that I was no longer reaching for sugary snacks in the afternoon or feeling the intense hunger that often disrupted my daily routine. There was a steadiness to my energy that I had rarely experienced before, a smoothness in how my body processed food and maintained fuel throughout the day. Sleep also seemed to improve during this period. Nights felt more restful, and I woke up feeling less groggy than usual, which reinforced a sense of internal balance and well-being. By day 5, the cumulative effects of drinking this cup daily began to show in more subtle physical signs. My midsection felt softer yet slightly more toned, and the small changes were encouraging enough to maintain consistency without feeling forced or disciplined. I realized that these early changes, although not dramatic, were the body recalibrating, adjusting its insulin response, and slowly releasing stored fat while reducing inflammation. By day 6, I could clearly notice a difference in the way my clothes fit. Pants and shirts that had been snug around the waistline suddenly felt a little more comfortable, not because of drastic weight loss, but because my belly had started to respond to the improved metabolic balance. The feeling of insulin resistance,
which had previously manifested as sudden energy crashes or intense hunger after meals, began to lessen. I experienced fewer mid-afternoon dips and found that meals provided more stable energy, which made a remarkable difference in how I approached the day. As I entered day 7, the culmination of a week-long commitment revealed the most tangible results. The changes in my belly, while not extreme, were noticeable in shape and comfort. There was a slight reduction in measurement, and the midsection felt less bloated and tighter. My overall energy levels remained steady, my hunger signals were more manageable, and sugar crashes were minimal or non-existent. Even simple daily tasks felt easier, and the sense of fatigue that had been commonplace was replaced with a more consistent vitality that I had not experienced in a long time. Beyond physical changes, it was clear that the drink had positively influenced how my body processed nutrients and regulated insulin, making my metabolism more responsive and balanced. Looking at the science behind these changes, it becomes evident why this transformation is possible. Certain natural compounds found in drinks like this have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and enhance metabolism over time. Herbs, spices, and antioxidant-rich ingredients contribute to stabilizing blood sugar levels, reducing fat accumulation, and supporting the body's ability to burn energy efficiently. Scientific studies confirm that these compounds can influence metabolic pathways, allowing the body to use stored fat more effectively while regulating energy availability. These mechanisms explain why daily, consistent consumption over just 7 days could lead to observable effects in both fat reduction and energy management. Antioxidants present in such drinks help combat oxidative stress in cells, which further supports fat oxidation and insulin responsiveness. By calming inflammatory responses in the
Body, these natural ingredients create an environment where fat can be mobilized, energy can be stabilized, and overall metabolic function is enhanced. The combination of boosting metabolism, stabilizing blood sugar, and reducing inflammation is what makes this drink uniquely effective when incorporated consistently into a daily routine. After 7 days reflecting on the results honestly, I was impressed not just with the subtle physical changes, but also with how easy it was to stick to the habit. The drink was simple, natural, and satisfying, making adherence effortless compared to more complex or restrictive interventions. The improvements in digestion, energy, and bloating reinforced the decision to continue, showing that small, sustainable habits often produce results that are more meaningful and maintainable than extreme measures. The week taught me that noticeable changes do not always require drastic diets or exhausting exercise routines. Instead, focusing on consistency, timing, and the right combination of ingredients can produce significant improvements in how the body looks, feels, and functions internally. The process was encouraging because it demonstrated that even small daily commitments, when backed by natural compounds that support metabolism and insulin sensitivity, can produce real, observable outcomes in a surprisingly short time. Consistency proved to be the most critical factor. Drinking the cup without adding sugar or artificial sweeteners ensured that the effects were not diluted and that the compounds could work efficiently within the body. Pairing the routine with simple, complementary habits like staying hydrated, taking short walks, and prioritizing sleep amplified the results. Each of these habits alone might seem minor, but when combined with the daily drink, they created a synergy that improved digestion, energy balance, and fat utilization. The experience emphasized the importance of creating a routine that the body can adapt to naturally rather than forcing extreme interventions that are difficult to sustain.
Observing subtle signals, listening to the body's response, and making minor adjustments based on real-time feedback proved more powerful than any rapid fix approach. By the end of the week, it was clear that these simple, science-backed actions not only supported fat reduction and better insulin response, but also contributed to an overall sense of well-being. The changes were gradual yet meaningful, and they highlighted how targeted, natural strategies could influence core aspects of metabolic health without requiring significant disruption to daily life. The combination of metabolism-boosting compounds, blood sugar regulation, and anti-inflammatory effects created a balanced environment where energy was steady, cravings were reduced, and physical changes in the belly were evident. Each day reinforced the understanding that minor, consistent efforts can yield substantial results, making health improvements accessible, realistic, and maintainable over the long term. The week-long journey also provided insight into how deeply the body responds to dietary interventions that are simple, natural, and well-timed. It was not about instant transformation or unrealistic expectations. It was about understanding how to work with the body's own systems to produce measurable, sustainable outcomes. This approach allowed me to observe the effects of each day, see cumulative improvements, and appreciate the science behind the process. By the seventh day, I had not only experienced a reduction in bloating and more comfortable clothing fit, but also felt a renewed sense of control over my energy, hunger signals, and overall metabolic function. The drink, combined with consistency and small lifestyle adjustments, highlighted how even 1 cup a day can create a ripple effect that positively impacts fat storage, insulin sensitivity, and energy regulation. The natural compounds, carefully selected for their ability to influence metabolism, were doing more than just reducing belly fat. They were supporting a healthier internal environment that allowed the body to function more efficiently. This reinforced the lesson that small, simple habits, when implemented with knowledge and consistency, can produce noticeable and lasting effects. The week showed that health interventions do not need to be extreme to be effective, and that understanding the science behind everyday choices empowers people to make changes that feel natural, manageable, and sustainable over time. Each day brought its own discoveries, and the gradual improvement in energy, digestion, and fat distribution underscored the value of persistence, patience, and respect for the body's natural processes. By focusing on the foundational elements of metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and inflammation reduction, this approach demonstrated that significant results could be achieved without dramatic or unsustainable measures. Observing the body respond over these 7 days made it clear that consistent daily actions combined with natural, science-backed ingredients and supportive lifestyle habits form the cornerstone of effective and lasting health improvements. Energy levels became more predictable, appetite and cravings were moderated, digestion improved, and subtle changes in the midsection reflected a body responding to better metabolic function. The combination of natural compounds, timing, and daily adherence provided a clear framework for achieving meaningful results in a manageable and sustainable way. The 7-day experience reinforced the principle that small, consistent habits are often more powerful than sporadic extreme efforts, and that supporting the body with natural compounds that target metabolism, blood sugar, and inflammation can lead to real, observable changes in fat distribution, energy, and overall health. By staying consistent, avoiding sugar, and complementing the drink with simple healthy habits, the body was able to adjust gradually and effectively, providing a clear example of how everyday choices can have a profound impact when applied thoughtfully and persistently.
After just 7 days of drinking this simple cup every day, the changes were real and noticeable. Belly fat felt lighter, energy was steadier, cravings were easier to manage, and my body's response to food and sugar had improved What's most important to remember is that small, consistent habits can create real results when they target the root causes like metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and inflammation. If you try this yourself, pay attention to your body, stick with it for a full week, and notice the subtle changes that happen from day to day. I want to hear about your experience, so drop a comment below and share what you notice in your own journey. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more simple, science-backed ways to improve your health and feel your best every day. Start today, stick with it, and watch how small actions can lead to big changes.